Hey, we moved the boat into the shed and I was cleaning up, and I ran across these two mementos, souvenirs of a child's birthday party long ago. And I think my son was 10, I think, and he got an invitation to my former business partner's son's 9th birthday party. And so my former business partner phones me up and invites Alistair, and says, we're going to be making a craft, right? And I asked what it was, and he says, well, we're going to be making them swords and shields. And I thought, great. Are there any other adults coming to this thing? And he says, nope, just me. And I knew right then, I love the man like a brother, but he's an artist with all that entails. And when he gets into an art project, he just focuses on that, and literally riot could be happening around him, and he would just, right? So I said, look, I got nothing to do. How about if I come by and help? And he says, oh, that's great. So that's what I did. So brought my son over on the day, and it was great. He pre-cut all of these pieces, and I think I'm going to say there might have been 15 or 20 boys there, all about 9 years old, 8 to 10 years old. And so under his instruction, they copper riveted the crosspiece on a sword, and he pre-cut all of these shield shapes, and again, probably 20 of them or so, out of what looks like pretty good marine plywood, and pre-cut the brace at the back. And again, so the kids got to rivet these things and actually use power tools. And it was kind of poignant, because kids these days, you rarely get a chance to grow up in a place where there's a workshop you can just go and futz around in and experiment and learn and hopefully keep all your fingers, right? But so the kids were great. They were enjoying the heck out of this. And the thing is that we basically have an arms factory working in this shop, this boat shop, producing kids who are stepping away from the table, each of them now armed with a sword and a shield, right? And looking at them, and what's that classical phrase? Gazing at each other with wild surmise, like that Picandarian. I forget what the poem was. But yeah, but gazing at each other with wild surmise accurately sums it up, because they're looking at their sword and their shield, and they're looking at each other, and you can just see the gears turning. And that's when I stepped up, and I introduced myself, and I said, I'm the master at arms today. I'm going to show you how to safely use this stuff. I'm going to show you how to have fun with this stuff. So I told them, it says sword and shield, tremendous. It's a lot of fun, but here's the thing. I says, you can hit from here to here at the knee. You can hit there, and you can hit as hard as you want. And they went, I said, yeah, you can hit as hard as you want. The point, though, is that when you hit somebody, you're telling them exactly how hard they can hit you, right? This is the thing, and this is an important lesson about rights and responsibilities, action and consequence. So I repeated this a couple of times. You can hit as hard as you want, but you're telling them how hard you're willing to get hit back. Do you understand? Had to kind of break it down Barney style for a couple of them, but I said, in the end, believe me, they all worked it out. So I explained how, with the sword, I says, in real life, the point beats the edge, but you're not going to use the point. You're just going to use the flat or the edge like this. And I showed them the basic kata, the basic cuts, right? And the rest of it, but I said, if I see you use the point, I will break the sword and you will go home unhappy. Do you understand? And they were like, oh, okay, this is a little too much action and consequence for me, but all right. I said, the next thing is the shield. Now, of course, my arms are a little bit bigger, so they won't fit through the loops. But I said the shield it's a defensive object, but it can also be used offensively and such. But you're not going to do that. You're going to use that to block a sword. And you can do it like so. So I showed them the basic moves and stuff like that. And you can see, again, gazing at each other with wild surmise was now, they were practically humming with anticipation. They were just vibrating with anticipation. So they started out and they paired off, and I paired them off roughly equal for size. And they started rather gingerly, smack, smack, and they got faster at it and they got more confident, and they kind of tested their the limits, right? Now, in the role of Sergeant at Arms, I had a quarterstaff, which is this tall, and I was just ready with it to either move a sword up or knock a sword down, or just get in there and break things up. Certainly not to use it offensively. And there was a couple of times that instinct overtook conscious thought, because one kid, a couple of times, the kids went in with actually a very good thrust, with good balance and everything. I was quite impressed. I didn't tell them that till later, but a pretty good lunge. And in each case, I knocked the sword up or knocked the sword down and had a quiet word with them. Nobody's sword got broken, right? So here they are. We have this melee going on of of these 10 pair getting, it's like an action scene from a Cecil B. DeMille film. And the remarkable thing was, I still don't know how it happened, they sort of developed this sort of hive mind thing, because without any verbal communication, any external communication that I could see, it seemed as though they simultaneously, every man jack of them, it occurred to them that they were many and I was one. And like a flock of starlings, they all just turned on me and came at me, right? And this left me with a bit of a quandary, because I'm wearing no defensive gear. All I've got is a staff, and I can't properly defend myself, like sweep their legs out from underneath them, or poke them in the chest, or knock them on the head, or anything like that. So I think maybe for them, some of the more helicoptered, if we can say that, the more protected kids, I think they had a very good time, because they had a chance to beat the crap out of a grown-up. My legs were black and blue for quite a while after that, and I wonder if they still remember it, because I certainly do. Ouch.